Good evening. Austin is away this weekend, and we begin with the capital under an orange warning ahead of what could be a difficult, messy mix of freezing rain starting tonight. Environment Canada issued that warning, which also stretches into Kingston, Pembroke, and Brockville, and across much of the Montreal-Ottawa corridor. Now, the wicked weather could also bring power outages and a tricky commute for those on the roads Monday morning. CTV's Kimberly Johnson was out speaking with folks across the city and how they're preparing for it.
Kimberly, on top of that freezing rain warning, just moments ago, Environment Canada issued a special weather statement warning of possible strong wind gusts of up to 70 kilometers an hour on Monday. While at the Ottawa airport, we're also starting to see delays and cancellations on flights, so be sure to check your flight before you leave.
What we're looking at is about 1.5 inches of ice that built up over 2 hours between Brockville and Ottawa on the 23rd of December.
Ross Thompson is visiting from Owen Sound. Hit by a storm on his way into Ottawa, he may now have to adjust his return date because of another one.
We're staying with family, so we have an option to adjust our timing, our departure.
Ottawa under an orange warning for freezing rain. Environment Canada says there could be 15 to 20 millimeters of ice accumulation, slippery conditions, gusting winds, and power outages as Ottawa is hit with its latest winter storm.
Candidly, got a Lego set so that if the power does go out, we have something to do by candlelight and fuel for the snowblower.
With 13 hours of freezing rain expected, followed by possible flurries on Monday, Brianna Chapman says she's making sure her family has supplies.
Getting the blankets out, making sure that we have enough candles and flashlights and batteries, and of course, charging all of our devices.
Ontario Provincial Police say to avoid non-essential travel, and if you have to be on the roads, go slow. Environment Canada says the storm is widespread, stretching across Ontario, but Eastern Ontario could be seeing the brunt.
This is an orange warning for Ottawa. This means that it's dangerous. It's not that it's rare.
Hydro Ottawa says its crews are on standby, and the city says its salt trucks and resources are too, as the storm is set to stretch through the overnight hours into Monday.
The challenge with freezing rain is it coats everything. It doesn't matter if it's a roadway or a sidewalk or a winter cycling network. They're all coated in ice at the same time. So we'll be deploying resources to all of that infrastructure at the same time.
City officials say if you see any downed trees affecting sidewalks or roads, to call 311.
Figured we'd get out early today, get our grocery shopping done.
Just making sure we have enough food. Just going to coordinate with my work.
Hydro Ottawa also suggests you keep what's called a 72-hour kit on hand in case of power outages. That includes flashlights, fresh batteries, water, and non-perishable food on hand. Officials also say to contact them through the Hydro Ottawa app about any power outages. Kimberly?
CTV's Kimberly Johnson reporting live for us tonight. Thank you very much. And CTV Ottawa has extended coverage of the freezing rain warning for Ottawa and Eastern Ontario. There are more stories online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. All right, we'll take our first check of the weather right now. Again, pretty nice day, all things considered. It was cold here in the capital, but we are dealing with, again, the freezing rain warning in the overnight hours. We're currently sitting at -8. We have a mix of sun and cloud that we're looking at right now in the Ottawa area. And for tonight's lows, we're heading down to high -7 here in Ottawa with some cloud cover that we're looking at. Again, we have that freezing rain warning here for the area and Eastern Ontario. -7 in Cornwall and Brockville, -3 for Kingston, -1 in Trenton. We're looking at -8 for Gatineau, same thing for Petawawa and Mont-Tremblant, -10 for Montreal. And as for tomorrow's highs, again, we have the freezing rain warning, but we could get up to 1 degree here in Ottawa. Ottawa Fire Services helped stop a major leak and evacuate residents from a long-term care home in Barhaven yesterday afternoon. Now, the call came in around 2:30 on Saturday for reports of a large water leak on the second floor of Carlton Lodge on 55 Lodge Street. Now, once on scene, firefighters had concern about parts of the ceiling being that it would collapse. Fire crews found 7 rooms on the first floor had flooded. The building's residents were evacuated as water was redirected out of the windows while they worked to control the leak. Some residents were picked up by family, while others were brought to another long-term care home by OC Transpo. Civil servants in Ontario will be back in the office full-time starting in the new year. Beginning on January 5th, everyone who works for the provincial agencies, boards and commissions, public bodies, will be required to return to the office full-time. Now, the province says more than half of Ontario public service has already required to be in the workplace full-time. A popular bakery in Old Ottawa South is closing its doors today after nearly 18 years in business. Life of Pie has served up its last slice of the freshly baked goods over on Bank Street. CTV's Natalie Van Roy joins us now with the latest. Natalie.
Kimberly, a bittersweet day for the business owner who is hanging up her apron to enjoy retirement and more time with family. Owner Carrie Duffy says she's been baking for decades and started making pies out of her home. The bakery at 1134 Bank Street has become a staple for the tight-knit community of Old Ottawa South. On the last day of operation, customers lined up to pick up goods like pies, cinnamon rolls, and scones. Now, owner Carrie Duffy says customers have treated this as a gathering place for conversation and friendship.
I'm excited, but I'm also sad because so it's bittersweet. The reception has been great. You know, I mean, people are saying they're sad, but they are all very supportive. So we've been very busy in the last while.
While the shop will be dearly missed, Duffy says she is staying in the community and will still see people regularly. Her husband and children were also lending a helping hand on the last day Life of Pie was open, which is a full circle moment for the small business. Now, customers that CTV News spoke to say it's been an emotional day of closure as the bakery became a meeting place for people on their happiest days to their lowest moments. Now, that's fulfilling a sense of community in Old Ottawa South. Kimberly.
Oh, that's so sad to hear. What's your favorite type of pie, Natalie?
You know what? I think it's apple.
Me too.
Apple pie.
Me too. Got to agree. CTV's Natalie Van Roy reporting live for us tonight. Thank you very much, Natalie. Well, officials are warning of a confirmed case of avian flu in a town in central Ontario. The Canadian Wildlife Cooperative says the reported case comes from a dead Canadian goose found at a pond in the town of New Tecumseth, which is about an hour north of Toronto. Residents in the area are being asked to avoid ponds and waterfowl habitats, to not handle sick or dead wildlife, and to not feed any raw meat from game birds to pets. Well, as we head into the new year, there's one trend that is making a comeback for Canadians, and that's travel around the world. But one expert says it's not the same as we've seen in the past.
It seems, and again, whether people are looking up under AI and where's the best place to go for this or that, they are talking about quiet escapes and slow travel, as opposed to running to the destinations like Rome and places like that where it's hectic and things like that. They're looking, again, this is from what we're seeing. We can only guess at this point, but we're seeing that people are deciding to try to go for the slower route, the one that is just not as popular as the others.
Now, experts say global travel is on the rise as Canadians make fewer trips to the United States. They're also reminding travelers to book refundable tickets in advance and to get ahead of the costs to travel. Artificial intelligence was a hot topic in 2025, with many workers concerned it could lead to their jobs being replaced. Now, an AI skills lab in Ontario is working to teach people about the technology. CTV's John Musselman explains.
Experts say AI, or artificial intelligence, is a tool that will help employees work faster and more efficiently. It's not something to be feared, says Sarah Stockdale. She's the founder of Canada's first ever AI skills lab based in Toronto.
AI in the workplace they have really valid concerns, environmental concerns, copyright concerns, hallucinations. So we teach folks, how does this actually work in the back end? It's not magic. A lot of it is just math. So we teach them how the tools work. And then it makes it a lot easier and more apparent where and where not they should be adopting them in the workplace.
As workplaces move into the new year, AI is advancing faster than employee training can keep up. It's estimated only 12% of workers have any formal AI training. This creates a divide, experts say, between those employees who feel confident using AI and those who fear it may replace their job.
These tools should not be replacing workers. They should not be replacing Canadian workers. They should be helping make their jobs more creative and more interesting by offloading administrative tasks.
Megan Rafuse is a recent graduate of AI training to improve performance in her workplace. She says AI felt overwhelming and intimidating at first, but she has now embraced it. Her company offers virtual therapy sessions.
That the fear is gone. The fear that once was, oh my gosh, this is a big tool that I'm not sure what to do with, has now been replaced by, if I use aspects of AI with ethical frameworks in ways that align with my values, I can really drive a lot of positive output, productivity.
And we can't hide from it and they can't hide from it. So how do we make our workplaces better and more interesting and not scarier?
Experts say AI literacy is becoming as essential as basic computer skills in the workplace. John Musselman, CTV News.
Well, this year, the National Capital Region is hosting its 25th anniversary of one of the biggest hockey tournaments. The Bell Capital Cup invites minor league teams from all across the world to compete, bringing in the teams here from Canada, the United States, Asia, and Europe. CTV's Camille Wilson checked out the tournament today, joins us now for a look at what's happening. Camille, how's it going?
Kimberly, arenas across Ottawa are filled with little hockey players shooting their shots, aiming for the same goal of winning the Bell Capital Cup. Many current and former NHL players have participated in their youth, and these young players are hoping to be next.
It feels pretty nice.
10-year-old hockey player Kai Chung is excited to be in his first hockey tournament.
I get to play with some friends and some teammates.
It feels amazing. It's his first year, and honestly, he's impressing me a lot. Didn't think he would be as far as he is, but he's doing really well. I'm very proud of him.
Kai plays for the Smiths Falls Bears, one of the 284 teams playing in the Bell Capital Cup, a premier minor hockey tournament open to youth teams aged 9 to 13 from all over the world.
We provide the best minor hockey experience of any tournament. It's a very unique tournament from the standpoint of how big it is, how many kids from all over the world get together.
There are also many other off-ice experiences to take in at the Quench Hockey Fest, including Sunday's opening ceremony and the long-standing tradition of pin trading.
Our coaches give you 10 pins, and then when you play other teams, you can trade pins with them. So it's like a little souvenir.
What I like the most about it is trading pins with all the other teams. I love trading pins with other people.
Games are played in various arenas across the Ottawa area, with the championship finals at the Canadian Tire Centre, the home of the Ottawa Senators.
Our first game that we won 3-1, I got MVP and I got a trophy.
It's really just grown every year for the last couple of decades and a half. We're looking at over 5,000 players, and then coaches and training staff and all that.
Everyone with the same goal.
I want my team win and win my first tournament, because I never win a tournament before.
I'm looking forward to winning this tournament.
And for Kai, this tournament is only a step closer to his dream.
I'm hoping for me and some of my teammates to make it to the NHL.
Proceeds from the tournament are used to fund local minor hockey programs in the Ottawa area. The Bell Capital Cup runs until December 31st, with the championship games ending on December 31st at the Canadian Tire Centre. And for more information, head over to our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca.
A lot of action going on opening today,
Absolutely.
Right? I love it, love it. CTV's Camille Wilson reporting live for us tonight. Thank you very much. And you can scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to link to us online, or visit ctvnewsottawa.ca. We have more details on the 25th annual Bell Capital Cup. Well, hockey fans across the province were treated to a lively Battle of Ontario last night. The Ottawa Senators visited the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Comes away with it, puts it in front, Jordan Spitz, left, rebound, scores! Spitz has scored.
Well, after the Leafs took a 5-2 lead into the third, the Sens closed the gap here to 5-4, but Matthew Kine sealed the victory for the Buds with his second goal of the game. Now, Toronto added an empty netter to win 7-5. The Sens are back on the ice at home on Monday to face the Blue Jackets. And this afternoon, Steve Staios, general manager of the Ottawa Senators, put out a media release saying that goaltender Linus Ullmark will be taking a leave of absence for personal reasons. The statement reads in part that Linus has the full support of our organization during this time, and out of respect to Linus, we will not be making any further comments. The 32-year-old was pulled from the game last night, and Ullmark is in his second season with the Sens after he was acquired from the Bruins in 2024. The Swedish goaltender has started 28 games for the Sens this season, including 14 wins and 1 shutout. Well, Canada has now made it 2 wins in a row to start off the 2026 World Junior Hockey Championships.
Page trying to slap pass it back to Miners. McKenna looks back across. They score!
Michael Hage nets the overtime winner 44 seconds into the extra frame to avoid a massive upset, beating Latvia 2-1. Now, with the win, Canada avenged their shootout loss to Latvia in last year's tournament. The team now gets a day off before taking on Denmark on Monday. And in the National Lacrosse League action, the red-hot power play was the difference as the Ottawa Black Bears prevailed over the Philadelphia Wings.
Hands up. There's a shot, scores, it trickles in.
The Bears were a perfect 4-for-4 in the power play, taking the flight, I should say, out of the Wings. 16-2 last night at the Canadian Tire Centre. The team is now 2-2 early on in the season, but they end 2025 on a winning note. The Bears now head to Oshawa to play the Firewolves on Saturday. And the Toronto Blue Jays are winners of the Canadian Press Team of the Year Award. Editors, writers, and broadcasters across the country voted for the Blue Jays following the team's memorable postseason run. The Jays won a division title and reached the World Series for the first time in 32 years. They took on the Los Angeles Dodgers to a nail-biting Game 7 of the Fall Classic.
Gotta make a deal. Gotta get it done. Too many people dying. And I think both presidents want to make a deal.
After the break, Volodymyr Zelenskyy arrives at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence and hopes for a peace plan after nearly 4 years of conflict with Russia. We'll take a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. The calm before the storm. We're sitting at -8 degrees here in the capital. Well, it's a high-stakes meeting in Florida today between the presidents of Ukraine and the United States that could potentially lead to the end of the war between Russia and Ukraine. But as CTV's Kamal Karmali tells us, there are some sticking points that could slow down the process to a peace deal.
This is the meeting that could spell the beginning of the end of the nearly 4-year war between Russia and Ukraine.
We covered, somebody would say 95%, I don't know what percent, but we have made a lot of progress on ending that war.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy in Florida to try and get U.S. President Donald Trump to sign off on his 20-point peace plan.
Of course, if we will go further, and I hope that really we will have decisions in January.
Those steps involve Russia being a willing participant, which is still in question. One of the key sticking points include territory in eastern Ukraine. Ukraine has said it is willing to withdraw troops if Russia does the same and allow the region to become a demilitarized zone.
That is beneficial both to Ukraine and not to Russia because they don't want to move off of the front lines at all. They want to keep the line right where it is.
Ukraine is also looking for security guarantees, support from other nations should Russia attack again.
Those security guarantees will be provided not only by European and NATO nations, but in the 20-point plan, it specifically spells out the United States. And President Trump has also indicated that the United States is prepared to do that.
Part of the reason why rounding up support from Canada and European leaders was so important before meeting Trump. Although time is of the essence for Ukraine, Trump had this to say before the meeting.
I don't have deadlines. You know what my deadline is? Getting the war ended.
Zelenskyy claiming Russia doesn't want to negotiate under peaceful terms, pointing to the attack on Kiev earlier this weekend, but Trump maintaining both sides want a peaceful resolution. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
2 helicopters have collided midair in New Jersey, killing one person and critically injuring another. Video shows one helicopter spinning in circles before slamming into the ground. One of the helicopters was engulfed in flames after the crash. Witnesses heard a loud bang and metal slapping metal. The U.S. Federation Aviation Administration says the collision happened near the Hamilton Municipal Airport and only the pilots were on board. The National Transportation Safety Board will now lead an investigation into the cause of the crash. Rain lashed over the Gaza Strip over the weekend, flooding makeshift encampments with ankle-deep puddles. As Palestinians displaced by the two-year war attempted to stay dry, muddy water soaked blankets and mattresses in tents in a camp. According to Gaza's health ministry, at least 12 people, including a 2-week-old infant, have died since December 13th from hypothermia or weather-related collapses of war-damaged homes. A powerful earthquake struck off the coast of northern Taiwan on Saturday, sending tremors across parts of the island.
Oh, guys, it's an earthquake.
Officials say the magnitude 7 earthquake struck in the ocean about 32 kilometers away from land, but the tremors could be felt in cities, including the island's capital of Taipei. Officials add there were no reports of major damage. Well, as 2025 comes to an end, the federal government is facing accusations of inaction by advocates for medical assistance in dying, also known as MAID. 2 years have now passed since the Joint Parliamentary Committee called for a change to the criminal code. Now, if implemented, it will allow advance MAID requests from people with a serious and incurable condition that leads to incapacity. Provincial legislation in Quebec already permits that type of request. This fall, Canada Health shared the results of a report on the proposed MAID expansion, showing broad support among Canadians, but also highlighted concerns urging that safeguards be put in place. Federal figures show MAID accounted for about 1 in 20 deaths in 2024. An Edmonton family is racked with grief and demanding answers after a husband and father passed away this week while waiting for help in the ER. CTV's Marilla Fernandez has more.
I get a call from Prashant, and he's like, oh, I'm like, you know, Niharika, I'm having so much pain in my chest.
That's how the ordeal began for 44-year-old Prashant Srikumar. It would end with his death in the emergency room of the Grey Nuns Community Hospital of an apparent cardiac arrest. He had been waiting for almost 8 hours for help, his widow blaming the delay in medical assistance for his death.
I am ready to look into their eyes and tell them that I am here to get justice for Prashant.
Alberta's Minister of Hospital Services has posted a statement to social media sharing condolences for the family and friends of Srikumar. It also states, quote, I have directed Acute Care Alberta to jointly review the circumstances and potential contributing factors of this incident alongside Covenant Health. For Srikumar's family, that review is just part of the accountability they're seeking.
I would like to sit across the tables and talk to them. This is something that I need answers for, and I am not going to stop.
That's CTV's Maria Fernandez reporting. Well, for more than a year now, Canada's sovereignty has been under constant threat by the United States. Faced with an ally that has acted more like a bully on the world stage, Prime Minister Mark Carney has prioritized reinvesting in the military. CTV senior correspondent Judy Trin has more on the plan to defend the country's economic future.
Canada's new government will rebuild, reinvest, and rearm the Canadian Armed Forces.
The Prime Minister's clarion call to defend against a superpower's imperialism.
What I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state. We give them protection, military protection.
Donald Trump turned his threats into a trade war, pushing Mark Carney to turn the military into an economic shield.
I'm announcing today that Canada will achieve NATO's 2% of GDP target this year, half a decade ahead of schedule.
Carney's first budget invests nearly $82 billion in defense over the next 5 years. There's more money for recruiting, training, and equipment. Soldiers are getting raises and bonuses for serving overseas and deploying in the far north.
The priority is the defense of Canada and the Arctic. So we are investing both in terms of capabilities, but also in terms of planning and programming.
Climate change has made Canada's Arctic and its natural resources vulnerable to foreign intrusion by Russia and China. Better weapons are needed to patrol from the land, sea, and air. In the past, 75% of procurement dollars went to American companies. That's being reduced.
We're not going to be spending 75 cents of our dollar south. We'll be amortizing that money out in Canada where we can.
and then spending it in other places where we have to.
The Defense Investment Agency, created in October, aims to ensure that Canadian companies benefit from big procurements, like the plan to replace a fleet of aging submarines. The Navy wants 12 conventional subs.
The reason we need submarines is very simple. It's the only technology in the Navy that guarantees that we control our waters.
There are two competing bids. The Prime Minister visited TKMS, the German-Norwegian conglomerate, in the summer. Then in the fall, Carney visited the South Korean rival, submerging himself in Hanwha's proposal.
I'll be back in 60 days.
The contract, which includes manufacturing and maintenance, could be worth more than $100 billion. The winning bidder is expected to share the rewards.
Buying Canadian, both in terms of steel and aluminum. So that's not a surprise. I think for both submarine manufacturers, they would be looking at that. Obviously, the question of servicing these vessels over time. I mean, remember, this is a long-term investment. We're talking 30, 40, maybe even 50 years.
While the submarine supplier will be chosen next year, the decision on fighter jets is still up in the air. Canada has already purchased 16 F-35s from the U.S. With Trump's tariffs, whether to buy more is being reviewed.
I don't believe that we've had enough jobs created and industrial benefits done out of the F-35.
Then there's the Swedish charm offensive. The King leading the charge to pitch the Gripen fighter and offering to build the Nordic jet in Canada.
The government's steps to diversify our defense and trading relationships are absolutely crucial, but need to be accelerated.
The military budget will continue to increase over the next decade. The Prime Minister, along with NATO allies, has committed to spending 5% of GDP on defense by 2035. That will equate to roughly $150 billion a year, the cost of defending Canada's sovereignty. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
All right, up next, we'll take a look at your extended forecast, including some of the winter weather warnings across the country. We'll also take a look at the soaring price of gold and how some people are cashing in. Well, here's a live look at the Queensway east and westbound 417 traffic. Overall moving quite well. Again, we're not seeing that freezing rain. It's expected to come late tonight into the overnight hours. So if you need to be out on the roads about before 9 o'clock, that's the time to do it. All right, we'll have an extended look at the forecast right now. Again, if you're out and about today, things weren't that bad here in the Ottawa area. Just cold, but there are a number of winter warnings, not just here for the Ottawa area, but in most provinces and Yukon, as freezing rain, snow, and extreme cold weather hammers various parts of the country. Environment Canada, their winter storm warning says up to 40 centimeters of snowfall will accumulate by this afternoon in western coastal areas of Newfoundland, along with heavy snow and high winds in eastern and northern Labrador. There are also freezing rain and snowfall warnings issued for northern BC. In central and northern parts of Ontario and Quebec, heavy snow is forecasted, while freezing rain is on the way for the southern portions of both of those provinces. Cold warnings are in place for much of Alberta and Saskatchewan, with wind chills near minus 40 degrees Celsius. I lived in Regina. Minus 40 is no joke, I can tell you that. So they could take a live look now through our satellite radar. Again, we have the overcast skies coming through the area. Again, we have the freezing rain warning here for the area for the overnight hours. Again, it should be starting around 9 o'clock tonight is when you definitely want to be inside. And we do have some flights that could be canceled, a tricky commute. So if you don't need to be out on the road. So here's a look at what's happening across the country right now. We've got clear conditions, minus 4 in Charlottetown, overcast skies, minus 4 in the Fredericton area. Minus 2, they will have overcast skies sitting at minus 2 for St. John's and minus 5 for Halifax. They've got some clearer conditions over out there on the East Coast. We're sitting at minus 7 here in Ottawa, minus 10 for Quebec City, minus 6 for Timmins, minus 7 with some snow already for the Sudbury area. Toronto sitting at plus 1 for now. 14 degrees in Windsor, but they have some overcast skies, minus 7 toward the Thunder Bay area. We're looking at minus 25 with a few clouds in Regina, minus 22 with overcast skies in Saskatoon, minus 9 for Edmonton, 0 for Calgary, 4 degrees with overcast skies for the Vancouver area, minus 22 up in Whitehorse, minus 25 in the Yellowknife area. Now, closer towards us here in Ottawa, We're looking at -6 for our overnight hours. Again, freezing rain warning is in effect for the area. We have flurries for tomorrow heading in toward the afternoon. +1 we could see here for Ottawa. Over along the toward the valley, -8 in the overnight hours. Again, freezing ice pellets we could be seeing there. We have flurries to deal with as well into tomorrow. 0 could be your high. And along the seaway, we've got -7 for our overnight low with that freezing rain warning. And again, flurries as well into the afternoon hours. Sitting up +1 could be the high there for tomorrow. So here's how the week is shaping up. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Again, snow and flurries we're dealing with. Tomorrow, the freezing rain will be hitting us, so a tricky commute for your morning and afternoon hours. -10 for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then look at that on Thursday. Looking forward to that. Sunny, -15 degrees that we'll see there, and we could see some cloud cover roll in again by Friday. Well, gold has experienced a surge in value in 2025, and now many people are taking advantage of the rising price of the precious metal. As CTV's Allison Hurst tells us, they're selling off older or broken items and turning in a significant profit.
Just going to lay everything on the tray here.
Staff at Museum Gold and Silver check the ring and necklace a customer has brought in to sell.
I never wear it, and the price of gold is so high now, so I thought I'd take advantage of it.
They start with the magnet test.
Gold and silver are non-magnetic, so that's a great starting point here.
Then check the number of carats.
Coming up just shy of 22 carat over here. That one is just shy of 21 carats.
And factor in the weight to get the value.
So this necklace here at 17.3 grams, you're looking at $2,980 for that.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Thank you.
And the ring today is going to be another $570.
Amazing.
This customer ends up with a little more than $3,500.
I truly didn't believe that it was going to be this much. I'm really excited. Yeah, new purse time.
This is something staff say they've been seeing for months. More customers coming in to take advantage of the price of gold by selling items that are broken or were not being worn.
We haven't seen the type of excitement around precious metals in a very long time. The last time was probably around the 2010, 2011 time.
The gold rush has been going on for the last 2 years, and analysts say the price has doubled in that time.
I think they need a lot for it to yield a large return. We've had people sold a few items and all of them took a whole family on a cruise.
Analysts say there are several reasons for the surge. Central banks have been loading up on gold, and it's becoming easy for consumers to do the same.
One of those points where we see gold re-enter the public consciousness in terms of diversified assets for investment purposes is when Costco started selling gold bars. It's not so much that that was a surge in demand, so much as it became easy for people to make that investment.
But it's next to impossible to predict how long it might stay this high.
Once the price of something doubles in 2 years, that's pretty extraordinary, and it's unlikely that we would see another doubling in the following 2 years.
Max Smirnoff has one tip for anyone else hoping to cash in on the golden moment.
Look for places that advertise their prices. Look for places that give you a very transparent process.
Because a piece you've been overlooking may actually be worth it. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
All right, after the break, we revisit a sentimental tradition at a seniors' residence here in Perth. The residents mark the holidays with this annual display. Well, in case you missed it this week, at a seniors' residence in Perth, the Christmas season comes to life in a very personal way. And as CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports, it's bringing families together, spreading joy throughout the holidays, and has become an annual tradition.
It's become a Christmas tradition at this retirement residence in Perth, one that has grown piece by miniature piece since it started 6 years ago.
I do it in order to try to entice the grandkids and the great-grandkids to come in and see their grandparents at Christmas. My favorite is the bumper cars here.
Every Christmas season, co-owner Whit Lewandowski builds miniature animated Christmas displays for residents and visitors.
A lot of the times the residents will help take the items out of the box. They'll help, once I get a lot of the electronics set up and everything, they'll help place the figurines in places they think works best.
The displays help create a sense of home and connection during the holidays.
This is our home now, and a lot of us can't have great big trees and great big families around all of the time. And Lanark Lifestyles is a place where we can all gather, and it's just like home.
And for many, the details bring back memories from long ago.
I like the merry-go-round. It reminds me of when I was, little kid. Yeah, but they're all very nice.
I always liked the skating rink. That I used to love to skate, so that brings back good memories.
The displays also now creating new memories.
It's amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah, and it's so attractive for residents and visitors, and especially young children.
A lot of the grandkids will come and play with it, and I don't have signs on it, do not touch or anything else. If something breaks, we have glue.
A collection of tiny details built on kindness and the spirit of the season. A reminder that even the little things can spread so much joy. Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Well, if you hosted a holiday meal at your house, the countertops may now be clean, but what about the inside of your oven? CTV's Pat Foran takes a look at whether the self-cleaning feature could save you some scrubbing.
Between boiling, broiling, and baking, experts in Consumer Reports Lab also put every oven's self-clean cycle to the test. They rate how a tough baked-on mixture of tapioca, cheese, lard, and cherry pie filling can be wiped away after the self-clean cycle. Most ovens pass the test, but researchers say people still wonder about the safety of a self-cleaning oven.
It's easy to find a lot of horror stories online about people who say they've damaged or destroyed their ovens by running the self-clean cycle. Our testing finds that the self-clean cycle is generally safe to use and pretty effective.
Those high temperatures that help clean your oven also produce smoke and fumes, so you'll want to take a few precautions. First, keep kids and pets out of the kitchen when you run the self-clean cycle. If you have a range hood, turn it on and open some windows. Remember, the top of the stove can get pretty hot, so keep it clear. And just because it's self-clean doesn't mean you're totally off the hook. You'll need to remove the racks and clean those by hand. You'll also need to wipe down the oven after the cycle to remove the ash buildup. And one final tip.
The best approach is to keep your oven as clean as you can while you're using it, wiping spills up as they occur, and cleaning up grease after you cook something fatty like a chicken or a roast.
Once the oven door locks for the self-cleaning cycle, it can take up to 5 hours to finish. But once it's done, it will be clean and ready for your next big holiday meal. Pat Foran, CTV News.
An enormously popular and important part of the French film industry.
Iconic French actress and animal rights activist Brigitte Bardot has died at the age of 91. We'll have that story. Plus, Natalie Van Roy joins us at the desk when we come back with more of what you need to know. In tonight's big picture, well, you think of anchovies on top of pizza, not so much swarming the shores of one of the most famous beaches in the world. Well, take a look at this. Swimmers at Rio's Copacabana Beach found themselves surrounded by millions of the little silver fish. Biologists say they were attracted by an unusual current of nutrient-rich water that created a fertile feeding ground along the Brazilian coast. Pretty cool. All right, now to some other stories you need to know right now. CTV's Natalie Van Roy joins us with more. Natalie.
Thanks, Kim. Well, we begin with some sad news from the world of entertainment. French actress Brigitte Bardot has died at the age of 91. The actress starred in a number of French cinema hits, including the 1956 film And God Created Women. Now, she starred in nearly 50 films. The actress announced she would be stepping away from the big screen in 1973 at just 39 years old, dedicating her life to animal welfare and her foundation, which works to protect wild and domestic animals. And fans of Bardot laid flowers under her statue in Saint-Tropez, France today. Mourners paid their respects at the bronze sculpture depicting the actress in And God Created Women, the film that shot her to international fame.
If there's something you can do, then you must do it.
The latest Avatar movie is flying high at the holiday box office, but movie ticket sales are set to fall short of Hollywood projections for 2025. Many industry insiders expected $9 billion U.S. in ticket sales across North America for this year, but Deadline reports the figure is likely to be closer to $8.8 billion. The report says the number may have been higher were it not for the impacts of the pandemic and the 2023 Hollywood strikes. And as much of Canada has already seen its fair share of winter weather, a heat wave continues to raise temperatures in areas of Brazil. Now, this comes after several consecutive days of above normal heat for this time of year, with less widespread rain. The combination of strong sun and warm air is keeping temperatures high and nights muggy in urban areas.
There also is increasing interest on the impacts of cold water exposure on mood and insulin sensitivity.
And researchers with the National Institute of Aging examining the health effects of cold plunges with a focus on how people respond to cold exposure in real-world settings. Now, one of the clearest findings found that cold plunges show their strongest support in short-term athletic recovery and performance, and that's after high-intensity or endurance exercise. Now, Kimberly, you were saying that you enjoy the cold plunge, right?
I love a cold plunge.
Yeah.
I've got one in my house. It's one of those little inflatable tubs. It's not like a high-end thing, but you fill it up with cold water, some ice, maybe some snow from outside. Just sit in it for like 10 minutes a day.
And do you notice anything, like with the effects?
Well, I feel alive. My skin's a
Wakes
lot
you up.
colder, but yeah. Cold plunge, hot plunge, I love them. You do them too, right?
I've done them at the spa. Like when you go from like the sauna to the cold plunge to the hot tub, but like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
10 seconds max.
Do it.
We are here for the family trip for the Christmas reunion.
All right, so would you ski along an active volcano? Many would be scared, but not this group of skiers. We'll have the details when we come back. Plus, we'll take one more look at your forecast and your wake-up weather. Live look now through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Again, we're sitting at -7 degrees, a calm before the storm. Freezing rain is on the way.
Tonight, the high-stakes summit to end a war.
Gotta make a deal. Gotta get it done. Too many people dying.
What came from the Mar-a-Lago meeting between Kyiv and Washington, later on CTV National News and Watch on Crave.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Sneha Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Well, here's a recap of the top local stories we're following right now.
Just making sure we have enough food. Just going to coordinate with my work. We're going to be working from home.
The capital under an orange warning for freezing rain, what could be a difficult and messy mix of weather starting tonight. Environment Canada issued that warning, which also stretches into Kingston, Pembroke, and Brockville, and across much of the Montreal-Ottawa corridor.
We provide the best minor hockey experience of any tournament.
And Ottawa's Bell Capital Cup kicks off 25 years here in the Capital Region. The tournament brings in minor hockey teams from Canada, the United States, Asia, and Europe.
I'm excited, but I'm also sad, so it's bittersweet.
And Life of Pie serves its final slice. The popular bakery in Old Ottawa South closing its doors after nearly 18 years in business today. And now we'll have a final check of your wake-up weather, and we'll take a look at the 7-day forecast. -3 is what we're waking up to again, with some freezing rains here in the forecast for the Ottawa area. Should be starting tonight around 9 o'clock, continuing into the overnight hours, and could be a pretty messy commute for your Monday morning. 1 degree, our high for tomorrow on Monday, and then a 40% chance of flurries on Tuesday and Wednesday. -10, looking at both those days. Thursday, sunshine on the horizon. -15, though, will be the high. And then some more cloud cover rolling in on Friday. -9 will be the high then. All right, time now to check in and see what our news team is working on for tonight. CTV's Natalie Van Roy back at 11:30. What are you working on, Natalie?
Thanks, Kimberly. Well, we know messy weather is on the way for the Ottawa region, but it's also hitting the GTA as well. And despite that, take a look at this. Skaters braved the sub-zero temperatures for the Polar Bear Skate in Toronto. Now, this is something you don't see every day. Skaters donning the bikinis, bathing suits, and plain old underwear to Polar Bear Skate at the Bentway. Now, that's a popular rink in downtown Toronto. Many came full of holiday cheer and also bearing gifts for a great cause, supporting New Circles Community Services. We'll have more on that initiative tonight, but that's get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca. And join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30. Now, in all seriousness, we will be watching this storm closely and seeing what happens here in Ottawa with that freezing rain.
For sure. All right, quickly, we'll get to this. An active volcano didn't stop a group of tourists in Italy from entering the wintry weather.
The group skied down an erupting Mount Etna.
We are here for the family trip for the Christmas reunion.
Yes, skiers could be seen making the trip down the mountain as smoke erupted and ash erupted in the background. Not something I do, but those guys are pretty brave.
Pretty brave.